96.5 The Fox, Bismarck Mandan's classic rock station with free beer, hot wings every weekday morning, and we are just a few days away from a nearly sold-out show at the Bismarck Event Center. This Sunday, October 4th, it is Def Leppard, it is Styx, it is Tesla, and the one, the only Lawrence Gowan of Styx, nice enough to join me on the phone this afternoon. Lawrence, how are you?
I'm very well, Matt. Thanks very much. How many tickets to go? I might just buy them myself.
You may have to. The last time I looked on Ticketmaster, there were just single seats available. So if you're a loner guy and you want to go by yourself, that's pretty much it ultimately.
It's a bit of a roulette seating at this point. Well, that's good. That's good. You could meet the love of your life or the disaster of your life, depending on which seat you get.
That is completely true. It's definitely a roulette. The show is this Sunday, October 4th, at the Bismarck Event Center, and this is not the first time that Styx has been out on the road with Def Leppard. What keeps you guys going back out with Def Leppard? What is it about that band that you guys enjoy spending so much time with?
Well, in fact, this is the most extensive tour we've done together, no doubt, and it's been a spectacular summer in so many ways, kind of exceeded everyone's expectations, and has really gone well. The last time we toured with Def Leppard, though, was about 8.5 years ago, and that also was a particularly stellar run of shows that we had. And it's one of those things where we got on extremely well with them. We seemed to have a very simpatico sense of humor, and they enjoyed our show, probably almost as much as we enjoy theirs. And so there's a great kind of camaraderie, and there's also this combined focus to make it a great night of classic rock. It's nearly a 4-hour show, and having Tesla along with us makes it just adds a little cherry on the top. So it's pretty. It's been a pretty spectacular run.
And as you mentioned, this tour has been hugely successful. It was really one of the biggest amphitheater tours of the summer. What do you think about the tour that Def Leppard, Styx, and Tesla is doing that keeps people coming out and keeps selling these shows out?
Yeah, I was told by the big promoter company, Live Nation, that we're in the top 10 tours of the year. So that's really pretty amazing, honestly. And we're just really grateful for the tremendous success it's had. Having said that, I've seen a lot of the show. I've seen the other two bands, obviously, many times, and I can see why people are so in love with it. As I say, it's a great night of pretty well 4 hours of relentless classic rock. You practically know every single song that's being played, and there's a way where being with bands of that caliber elevates your own game along the way, and so I think there's just been a great buzz about it from the beginning, and that's continued to kind of gather momentum as we come up to Bismarck on the 4th of October.
Joined on the phone by Lawrence Gowan of Styx. Sunday night in Bismarck will actually be Styx's final show on this tour. How bummed are you that it's coming to an end?
Yeah, we're already kind of getting the handkerchiefs out at this point. It's too bad. I mean, we're down to our last week, but who knows? There could be something more on the horizon, somewhere up the trail. But Bismarck is bound to get a pretty emotionally charged show in a lot of ways. Not too many tears, I don't think, but I think they're going to get an over the top performance from everyone. What
is it like for Styx to be the kind of the support act on the tour? I mean, Def Leppard headlines every night. You guys obviously can do your own headline tours, but what is it like to be the opener for Def Leppard every night?
I happen to love where we are on this show. I find that the middle slot is the best place to be in many ways, especially on the summer tour. The audience is kind of at a great crescendo at the point in the night when we have the stage. I don't think any act on this tour has been made to feel like an opener. And in a lot of ways, Tesla sometimes have the strongest night of the three bands, and often we do, and often Def Leppard do. And I think it's I think in the old days, way back last century, there used to be a great stigma about who goes on when and why, and that has dissipated in the last. I'd say over the last decade, that's dissipated almost entirely to where bands seem to be united in their efforts to, as I said earlier, make sure that the entire night comes off spectacularly well, and we all gain by the experience. So for us to be in the middle slot is it's actually fortuitous, and it's an honor.
Joined on the phone by Lawrence Gowan with Styx. How different is the Def Leppard stage show compared to your show that you guys do?
Well, this is where the nuances of the difference in the music comes into play. I think that, Def Leppard's, particularly the two gigantic albums of Pyromania and Hysteria, they inform a lot of their show, and obviously it's a different flavor. Honestly, it's kind of like chocolate and strawberry. It's just a different flavor of the same. We share a lot of the same influences, but you can hear where the influences differ when Styx are on stage. I think I'd say there's a little bit more progressive rock influence in what we do in the presentation of our show, and they are more of a straighter rock band, for lack of a better description, in their presentation. None of us in Styx have the required the requirements that it would take to do an entire show shirtless like Phil Collins does, but we do have some some pretty good staging that makes up for it in a lot of ways.
Maybe that could be the big finale at the end of the tour Sunday night, is all of Styx comes out shirtless.
Yes, let's put that in people's heads and and then let's remove it just as quickly.
How many, or what are the chances, I guess, of possibly members of Styx getting on stage with Def Leppard Sunday night as you guys wrap up the tour? Is there any chance of you guys sharing the stage at any point?
I can never say that for sure. I would hate to promise it and not have it happen. It has happened in the past, but I can't guarantee that. It would be very nice if something like that were to take place. At the same time, it's always a great notion if you've had time to work something out together, and that's the trick there, Matt. We never want to do something that's kind of disruptive to the other band's show, but you never know. As I say, it has happened in the past, and it turned out really well. But we'll see how the night unfolds on the 4th.
Joined on the phone by Lawrence Gowan of Styx. They will be here Sunday night with Def Leppard and Tesla. Now, Lawrence, you're a Canadian guy. When you play places like North Dakota, does it remind you of home at all?
It does. Yes, it does in a lot of ways. There's, obviously we're just geographically a few miles apart, but I don't know, perhaps there's a chip that goes off in my head when I'm closer to the Canadian border. There is something about playing in North Dakota or Montana or the northern part of Idaho or even Washington State that suddenly evokes that feeling of the western provinces of Canada for me. And I think we share a lot of the same air, and I'm happy about that.
And I've always heard that audiences in the Midwest are some of the best to play for, whether it be in North Dakota, Minnesota. I'm from Michigan originally. We always get a lot of praise for our audiences at concerts. What is it about the Midwest that is so awesome for rock shows?
That's a great question, and it's funny what you say about Michigan. I've had that same experience from Michigan. There's a tremendous vibe among the audience. And North Dakota, my God, we've had some tremendous shows there in the past. But there's just I think there's just an instant welcome, Matt. It's kind of part of what happens when we walk on stage. People, we see, thousands and thousands of people smiling. There's less crossing of the arms to kind of say, okay, prove it to me again. There seems to be a more instant welcoming moment there. And it's funny, Matt, audiences around the world have a different personality when you first take the stage, and that's when it's noticeable. And yet, by the end of the night, it's astounding to me how alike they are. It's one of those instances where you're able to take stock of the great bonding that music that people agree on, as far as reaching them, what it does to them, and how similar we are. So I'm getting really deep into this philosophy here, but we love those audiences in North Dakota. Let's put it to that.
Joined on the phone by Lawrence Gowan of Styx. They will be here Sunday night with Def Leppard. When you wrap up this tour coming up on Sunday, what is next for Styx? What do you guys have planned?
We have a ton of shows ahead of us, and so we'll be back to playing our full 2-hour whatever it is shows that we do. There actually is a tour across Canada later on in November of this year. Yeah, I think we've got probably about another 20 shows to go before the end of 2015, and I'm looking at the calendar suddenly filling up very quickly for next year. in addition to all that, we're working on new stuff and recording new ideas, and we have some new concepts that are beginning to float. And if we actually have time to spend 6 months in the studio getting it ready, we'll finish it off.
And of course, you can get all those dates, all those details, all the news, styxworld.com. Now, Lawrence, I am a huge horror movie fan, and there's a movie out right now, you can see it on Netflix and everywhere else, called WolfCop. I have watched it, and your solo tune, Moonlight Desires, has a very prominent role in the film. And not only when you watch movies and you hear a song used, it's like 20 seconds, 30 seconds. They use over 2 minutes of your tune. How did that come about? It's kind of an odd movie. It's a low-budget sort of deal, but it's very, very cool to hear your song in it.
I'm aware of it because there were a couple of WolfCop fanatics out at the show just the other night in Salt Lake City, and they had copies of WolfCop with them, and we signed them, and I saw them, and I'm getting an awful lot of people having a great impression of, and finally hearing that song. That song, funny enough, I recorded that in 1987, or it came out in '87, and it features a nice little solo break with John Anderson from Yes, and the song just absolutely, fits the concept of the movie, in a lot of ways. And I love the fact that it's becoming this kind of cult classic already, even though it's only about a year old, I believe. And Moonlight Desires is finally getting some attention around the world. It was a #1 song in Canada for me, but it never was released in the United States. And so finally, I guess it takes a werewolf to finally make people aware of it. So I'm really pleased about that.
Do you think that this could open the door for more Lawrence Gowan werewolf collaborations, possibly?
I think so. I don't want to make the vampires in my life jealous, though.
I am looking forward to the show Sunday night, October 4th, Def Leppard, Styx, and Tesla. Lawrence, it is always an honor to talk to you. You are always so much fun, and I can't wait till Sunday night.
Good to talk to you again, Matt, and looking forward to seeing everyone there on Sunday. It's going to be a blast. Bismarck, here we come.